Good morning, distinguished guests, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jazz Darhill. I'm the Operations Director of AHB. My primary role is logistics and deliverables, but I oversee the implementation of the high-powered computer search. Okay, that's me. Okay, picking up earlier on where Mr. Mohammed left off regarding the technology readiness level stage. Where we are, as in our journey begins at AHB as is at level 4, okay? So, which is the prototype stage. Now, when you look at something like this, obviously it requires testing, it requires regulation, it requires compliance. You could not be able to deploy this or get it ready for mass manufacture. So it wouldn't get very far. So we as a company at AHB, we look to move from this level to readiness level 6, which is TRL6. Now you can do that in two ways. Governments can do this, or industry can do it. So government can pump a lot of money into making this into a product, and obviously industry can. Now, with our model as such, we do it in a slightly different way. We do it in two ways. One of them is entrepreneurs, and one of these is enterprise. Okay, so entrepreneurship. Now, in the UAE, 43% of GDP is made up from small to medium enterprises. So small to medium enterprises contributes a lot to the economy in the UAE. Okay, this is where that root talent comes in, of being able to have an idea, make it in an opportunity, make product, and be successful. So that small to medium enterprises do create a lot of value. Now, I also believe, or we believe as such, that tech companies, small tech companies, also have a high product gain. Now, let's take, for example, WhatsApp. WhatsApp had staff of probably 13, 14 members of staff. It was sold to Facebook for $1 billion. So it shows you what the level of value tech companies can have. And this tech company, having the research, having the how would you say, to make a product and from an idea where you can get that value as an asset for that company. Okay, the other way we do it is through enterprise. Now, we've sat down, or you've all been here in the last 1 hour. We spoke to a gentleman from the UK, a domain expert. You spoke to Satish. Satish has been here. He's explained challenge statements, business statements, enterprise. And what we have to look at is what is the benefit for the enterprise or a government body. And that benefit would be the data. The data itself will be the asset for that company. So let's take, for example, how we get enterprise to take you to that next level. So we have a domain expert. Now, Chris, as you've seen earlier on, is our domain expert. Each company has its own person that's been with the company for 20 years. He has a level of experience. He understands how your government body works. He understands the inefficiencies. He understands all the processes. That value of his domain expertise is the asset. Okay? Alongside with the data, that combined together is the asset. And that is where you can provide and make intellectual property by forming a product. Okay? So the enterprise would come from within the company itself. Now, so we have an end user engagement, we have a governmental enterprise, we have government bodies. Each one has data, and data is the key in everything that we do. We're collecting the data, how can we use that data, how can we make that into a product, and how can we keep the intellectual property. It is the intellectual property that is the asset in the whole of all this. Okay? And that's how we create the wealth for everyone. Okay, and how do we do this? We do this by creating an ecosystem. AHB is very lucky to be in a great place like this. We have all the facilities, we have excellent facilities in and around the park where we can access a lot of good small companies and use their data and help provide them to advance themselves. So ecosystems are made from investment and funding, government, non-governmental organisation, colleges and universities and industry. So all these factors, if they're all connected, can give you the chance to really build a great ecosystem. Right, and therefore, what that leads to is a network. So if you have a network of governmental bodies, non-governmental bodies, industry, universities, once you build that network up, you can use each person's idea, challenge statements, and then you bring that network together to build an ecosystem. You build yourself a network. Right. This is an early spidergram of loads and loads of different companies that was set from Fairchild Semiconductors, an American base. So you could look at this and think, yeah, well, all these companies that are all born from this work by networking. However, if you look very closely, the one main company that was born from here is Intel. So nobody noticed that from that one Fairchild Semiconductors, by networking, by having growth, Intel was spun from there. And this was all be done because there was your ecosystem, and that is the end result for Intel. Now, Intel, we know, is a very successful company. Big company, makes a lot of money, brought a lot of companies, so it's a very successful company, all spun from Fairchild Semiconductors. Okay, how they did this? They collaborated. When we look at this, this is rather simplistic, so I've got to apologise for this, because there to there seems very easy. Right? Support, teamwork, bit of communication, have a bit of trust, a little bit of motivation, and it's that easy. But it's never that easy when you collaborate. We find it difficult, and we find it difficult because a number of reasons. One of the reasons is you have academia, which you have universities, you have a professor who doesn't understand business. All he wants to do is do research. So he has to have a free mind to do the research that he needs to do. And then on the flip side, you have business. They only understand one thing, they want money. So how do you collaborate two entities that don't quite understand each other to get from one point to another point? Okay? And that's always been the biggest problem with collaboration. We have barriers, and these barriers are, you could have infrastructure barriers, systems could be old, you have to, nobody understands what you're actually doing. This is about education. We are in an educating facility at this moment. So by collaboration, we have to educate ourselves. We need educating, and your clients need educating. We're doing something completely different at this moment. We're taking a new business model and taking away the old model and putting a new business model in. Because this is about changes. Until we change our own mindset and think, how can I make this better? How can I make it better for me? How can I make it for the people that live in my city? And this is what it's all about. How can we make our citizens better citizens? How can we generate the wealth for our children? Okay? So collaboration is very important. Now, I'm lucky enough, or we're lucky enough to be set up in this wonderful park. Okay, we have access to all the facilities, we have access to state-of-the-art universities down the road, colleges, and it's that collaboration that's required. So I need governmental police, yourselves, companies to come along to us, sit down and say, right, we've got an idea, we want you to help us. This is the issues that we face. This is the issues that we face with our processes. This is the issues that we face with our challenge statements. How can we take an idea? Can we use your HPC to model it 1,000 times until we get the outcome we want to? Satish brought an example of Boeing. Boeing spent thousands, millions of pounds developing 88 wings, and they had to physically build them, physically build these wings. And all they did was spend hours on a computer through HPC, high-powered computing, and they only needed 11 to get the perfect wingspan. And that's all they needed. So the ideas have got to come from yourselves. Okay? Now, everything is about ideas, and ultimately everything that we do and we do here, we do about ideas. So I need university graduates, we need the university partners, we need the governmental partners to come along and say, right, give us the idea. Okay? You guys have the vision and you have the mindset. Right? We can only help you along that journey. So help us to help yourselves. Yeah? So if you've got an idea or you've got processes within your company that you look at and that you want us to look at, why not? And bring the data. We need the live data. Because the more data we got, the better the outcome. Okay? So everything you do, let's come up with an idea, let's work together. Okay? Thank you very much.